All right, guys, so I stumbled across this absolutely fascinating but very satisfying exchange between Republican Dan Bishop and Democrat progressive Mondaire Jones, whom was caught pushing January 6th conspiracies and lies, namely that one of the Capitol Police officers, or the Capitol Police officers, were beat to death, right, by the January 6th protesters, okay? That Capitol Police officers died because of January 6th protesters, which is a lie that Democrats love to push because they love to distort the truth to fit a narrative that does not line up with the facts. And Mr. Dan Bishop is not going to let Mondaire Jones get away with pushing this conspiracy and this lie and call him out appropriately. And I want you guys to watch as Mondaire Jones does mental gymnastics to try to get around this obvious lie that he told about the death of Officer Brian Sicknick, who died of a stroke. He died of natural causes. However, the left, for days after his death, basically tried to claim that, I don't know, he got hit in the head with a fire extinguisher or something by January 6th rioters, by Trump supporters. However, that was proven to be false, okay? Fact checkers couldn't jump on that fast enough, okay? So, without further ado, I want to talk about, but before I get into that, I just want to let you guys know, my name is Greg Foreman, and if you like my channel and you want to support my channel, you can check out my merch, my donkey pox shirts, the disease that is affecting America, or my hashtag no days off / hard work patriotic t-shirts, or my MAGA hub shirts. There are plenty of cool merch for you guys to check out at my website, gforemanbcp.com. Get 20% off using discount code gforemanbcp. So without further ado, let's get into it.
I mean, I wasn't listening. We were conversing a bit. But did I hear, and I think, did you say that a police officer was bludgeoned to death by the crowd at the January 6th riots?
I said a police officer was bludgeoned to death. I did not say at the hands of whom, Mr. Bishop.
Okay, so what are you saying then? Right then, who did it then? The Democrats do it? The Democrats bludgeoned a police officer to death? Because if they did, I think we need to have a conversation about it. Well, in fact, Democrats have been attacking police officers. In fact, there were numerous deaths that were a result of the BLM riots, but we don't have nearly as many conversations about that, right? Direct deaths as a result of the BLM riots, but we keep having this conversation about what happened on January 6th when the only people that died as a direct result of January 6th are Trump supporters. One Trump supporter, to be honest with you. The rest of the Trump supporters that died that day, they died of natural causes, heart attacks and strokes. That, again, could have been exaggerated by the fact that they were at the protest, but still. The only person that was actually killed was a Trump supporter, Ashley Babbitt, right? But for whatever reason, there's this idea that is being put forth that Trump supporters killed police officers that day. Again, founded in complete disinformation from the Democrat Party.
Who are you referring to, if you don't mind saying?
I can get that information for you in a few minutes.
Well, wait, so if you don't know who actually was killed, right, who was bludgeoned, right, which police officer was bludgeoned to death, why would you say it? So, again, you're just saying things that you think you're supposed to say, that you think you know, that you really actually don't know. Again, absolutely amazing.
I just want to make sure, because
are you denying that that at least one Capitol Police officer was murdered in the midst of what happened on January 6th?
Yes, there were no Capitol Police officers that were murdered. Right? Again, I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm laughing at the fact that this person really believes that a Capitol Police officer was murdered, and then he's trying to act like, oh, you don't believe that a police officer? No, a police officer was not murdered that day. You're the one that's in the wrong here. You're wrong.
Yeah, I think I am denying. I mean, here's what I understood, that there were reports early on that Sicknick was struck with a fire extinguisher, and that subsequently was debunked as false. He died of natural causes that were not connected to the event. Are we talking about the same person, Sicknick, or are we talking about somebody else? Seriously, I mean, it's
a genuine question, because the medical examiner, the U.S. Capitol Police put out a report agreeing with the medical examiner finding the USCP officer Brian Sicknick died of natural causes.
He don't know, bruh. That's why he was so solid. He don't know, bruh. He don't know. This is what happens when your narrative is confronted with facts. They just go silent, right? They just go silent. They don't know what to say. Wow. Yeah, watch this mental gymnastics that this guy goes into here.
An initial thought, and I know that Mr. Roy, you too are an attorney. Mr. Bishop speaks often about how brilliant of an attorney he is. We're talking about but-for causation of Officer Sicknick's death. And so I would hope that you would at least concede, at a minimum, that Mr. Sicknick died as a result of what happened on January 6th. And I'm disappointed.
You don't know that, right? You don't know that. Nobody knows that. He died of a stroke. Okay? He died of natural causes. Now, the autopsy says, yeah, he died of natural causes, and everything that happened on January 6th contributed to that, according to the autopsy. But that doesn't mean that stroke would not have happened, or that would not have happened without January 6th happening. We don't know that. We don't know if that was just his time to go. We have no clue. Again, that's not to try to excuse anything that happened that day. It was terrible. And I'm pretty sure those officers definitely went through some things. Some of these police officers were very stressed out from that day. But that does not mean that a police officer was murdered. Okay? That's not what it means. But again, this guy who's ignorant, who's busy pushing a narrative here, he is not concerned about the facts. He's just concerned about the narrative.
Pointed if you would suggest otherwise, sir.
Well, look, I don't think that's correct either, but just, was he bludgeoned to death? Is that, because I think Ms. Demings was even looking at, we were sotto voce between me and her saying he was. I'm sincere as I can be. My understanding is that was debunked, and Mr. Roy just read the medical examiner's information. Do you guys contend that he was bludgeoned to death?
I contend that 138 Capitol and D.C. police officers were injured, and that multiple Capitol police officers died as a direct result of what happened on January 6th. And I hope that you...
It's your time. You don't have to answer.
I hope you can see how one would question the sincerity of such a minute point in the midst of the gravity of everything else.
Would the gentleman yield?
Yeah.
Would the gentlelady yield?
A minute point, right? A minute point. I don't think it's a minute point to say that a police officer was bludgeoned to death. That January 6th protesters, rioters, whatever you want to call them, beat an officer to death. Okay? If an officer died from other causes, whether it be self-inflicted or via natural causes, I think that it is important to differentiate how they died. Okay? Because it's two different things to die from natural causes or from self-inflicted causes versus actually being beat to death. Okay? Being beat to death implies that those people out there murder a police officer, and that's just simply not the case. But again, this Democrat who's uneducated on the issue, who was just spitting out MSNBC talking points, things to hear it on Joy Reid's show and Tiffany Cross's show, he's unaware of that. And he gets checked on the facts and the evidence, and then he tries to deflect to, well, are you trying to downplay the fact that people died that day as a result of the January 6th rioters? No, nobody trying to deny that, people lost their lives in relation to what happened on January 6th. But again, saying that is different than saying that an officer was beat to death. That's just factually not true. It's just factually not true. So good job on Dan Bishop correcting that Democrat on pushing that false narrative. That, again, I think it's important to call out Democrats who push these false claims, trying to make it look like Trump supporters were out there beating police officers to death, which is totally false. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.